This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this will be like a vitamin or supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom and leave a rating and a brief written review? It will help other excellent people just like you to be able to locate this podcast. I'm also looking for the next level leaders who I can come alongside and coach and encourage. And if you'd like to see what the possibilities might be for you and I getting together and working together, just go to drronblake.com/call, drronblake/call. You'll get on my calendar. I'll give you a call and we'll see what the possibilities are. Today I want to talk about gaining confidence. All of us go through a time where it seems that our confidence bucket can develop a leak. When we face something new, we face something difficult, things don't turn out as we had planned. They really can throw our confidence off. And we're living through a particular time in history where it would be easy to lose your confidence. So I want to give you maybe up to 12 things that I think will help you in the area of your confidence. So let's just jump in and begin. The first thing is you need to become a student of leadership. You really need to just sort of pick some people's brains. I talk a lot about getting mentors, but sometimes one of the better mentors you can get is a $15 or $20 book. And you just need to study, whether you are trying to lead your family, trying to lead a study group, a volunteer group, a Bible study, or whether you're a leader at work. You just need to kind of understand, read some of the things, pick people's brains, find the best practices, just learn what it is you want to do. I think there are a lot of leaders during this particular day and age we're living in who, as the world has been rocked, most of us would have to say, in some form or fashion, our worlds have been rocked as well. And there's nothing wrong with all of us every once in a while taking a little stock and evaluation of where we are. So there's nothing wrong with asking yourself, and what I am doing right now, is that what I can see myself doing for the foreseeable future? Is this really how I want to spend my life? Now, I'm not talking about morbid introspection to the point that we just give up and say, what's the use? But there's a price to be paid with whatever it is you choose to do. So it's all right every once in a while to just ask yourself, am I still committed to this? Am I willing to pay the price? Am I willing to put up with all of the things one has to put up in these sorts of things? And that is the fact, is this a fit? Now, that is not an excuse for when it becomes uncomfortable, when we are forced to stretch, when we are challenged, and when we need to grow, that's not an excuse to walk away. It's just you don't want to be a square peg in a round hole. You want to make sure that what you're doing is something that fits. There's not any position in the world, paid or volunteer, that will exempt you from stressful times. There's nothing that you could do that you will walk in day one and know all about it. So you need to push past all of that. The fact of the matter is, it is going to be stretching. So you need to learn how to do what it is you're doing. Now, you'll hear me talk about it in just a moment. Default for most of us is to learn something. When we want to try something new or try something that's a little tad bit difficult, we decide that we're going to learn all we can. Well, always make sure you balance learning with execution, learning with doing. There are a lot of people who have intellectual knowledge up in their head as they have read and studied a particular subject. But the people who have done the things, who have written the books, didn't just have knowledge for writing a book. They had real life experience of where they implemented the things they learned. As great as it is to learn, I absolutely am 100% in favor of it and would absolutely encourage you to do so. You also have to turn that knowledge into doing. I think when you're trying to gain confidence, I think a wonderful, helpful exercise is find some other leaders to network in. In the group that I work with, our system just sort of has a built-in networking system. But like all systems, systems fail if people don't participate. We live in a pretty much of a culture where I'm living right now of individuals doing their own thing, and there doesn't seem to be the commitment to networking. But if you're not in an organization like the one that I'm a part of, where the networking could come somewhat more automatically because of our connections, you just need to find some groups. This is maybe the next step between reading books and going to seminars and conferences and learning some really nice ideas and concepts, is to network with other leaders. It's sort of the middle ground between there and execution, because you will still be in a learning mode when you network with others, because they will give you, at many times in networking with other leaders, I've had some really powerful aha moments where I thought, I never saw that that is a way you could implement that. And so they will help you to be able to see that there are probably more ways of doing whatever it is you're attempting to do than you can think of on your own. They'll give you another slant on it or a perspective that perhaps you did not have. And then you'll also receive some practical information on how they implemented it. Now, whenever our confidence is shaken, it's always a wonderful and marvelous time in which to really hone in on your self-awareness. There are some folks who everything seems to happen to them, and they never ever stop and ask the question, what have I done to cause any of this? Because they have gotten into the idea of the blame game, that everything that has ever happened in my life at any time for any reason is someone else's fault, someone outside of myself. It's good for you in a time where maybe your confidence is just a little shaken, are you helping to contribute to some of this? Have you really learned valuable lessons during these down times? Is there something you need to start doing? And perhaps even more importantly, are there some things you need to stop doing? Are you aware of how you come across to other people? And gaining confidence comes from the fact that not only do I know the people that I'm working with, I also know myself. I think another way in which to gain confidence as a leader is make sure that you're helping others to be more successful. Your children, your spouse, your friends, your co-workers, your boss, if you're an entrepreneur or solopreneur, the customers, the people that you're trying to reach. Are you providing information, skill sets, and really things that are helpful that will help others to be successful? There's something about gaining confidence when you know that it's not all just about me being better or me doing this or me doing the other, but that I really am here to help through coaching and mentoring and encouraging and making good decisions and building a team, not just so that I, at the end of the day, I am a successful leader, but that I can enable others to reach their potential. It'll help you gain enormous amounts of confidence when you make it your goal to help other people succeed. One of the other ideas that you need to do is to celebrate the wins. Oftentimes, because we who are in leadership always see what are all the things that are wrong and all the things that need to improve and what we could do better, that we fail to understand that there are a lot of things that have worked, there are a lot of things presently working, and we really have made appreciable progress along life's road. But because as a leader, there's always the tendency to focus on solving the next problem, getting the next win, improving this particular area, that we fail to stop and say, you know, gang, you really did a great job. Thanks for your input. Thanks for all of the things that you have helped us arrived to the place that we are today. Make sure that you are the chief celebrator in your organization. That will help you be more confident and will fight against the lack of confidence. I would just say then, confidence. Let's just talk about it for a moment. I'm not talking about faking it till you make it, but even your posture at times. Our posture says whether we are truly confident. Are we really the ones who are in charge? Do we throw our shoulders back? Do we know that I'm going to be confident in the decision that I made? I went about the right practices. And a confident person isn't the person who is afraid. It's a person who's not afraid of being wrong. When you lose that fear of being wrong, because as I have told you often on this podcast, most of the mistakes, most of things that don't work out well at work or other places, they're not irrevocable errors. They're things that we can stop, we can mitigate, we can change, we can tweak, or we can throw it out and start over. So don't be afraid and lose confidence that what if this doesn't work? What if this was the wrong thing to do? Forget that. Oftentimes you will make a mistake. There will be another way to do it. Just make up your mind that if you're wrong, you have nothing to prove to anyone. You tried that. You saw that that didn't work. You went with the best information at the time. But now, as the leader, you throw your shoulders back and you say, that did not work out as we planned. Therefore, we're going to change. We're going to recalibrate. We're going to go this direction. And here are the reasons why. And if this doesn't get us to the hope for the goal, then we will be open to change it. That not only gives you confidence, but it gives everyone on your team confidence that you won't keep banging the nail even when you know it's wrong, and that will give you great confidence. As much as we spend as leaders working on our IQ, our intelligence quotients, also make sure you're working on your emotional intelligence. Are you oriented to what the people are thinking? Are you paying attention to all of the things that are going on around you? Quit asking for permission if you're the leader. You already have permission. Get the stakeholders together, ask them their inputs, you go over it, your team go over it, you think about it. If you're a person of faith, pray about it, then make the decision and go confidently going that at that moment, that slice of time, you went with the best information that you had. You did what you needed to do. You gathered, in anyone's mind, a reasonable amount of data. Again, remember, there are people who will never be happy with what you do. So our goal isn't to pass the unreasonable person test. I always say to folks, we need to pass the reasonable person test. That if we share, this is the data we collected, this is how we did it, this is who we talked with, here are some of the ideas we had, here's the one we went with. A reasonable person, even if they still are not in agreement with the direction you went, will be able to say, even though I don't agree with your decision, I do see that you went through a process and you were faithful to your process, so I get why you made that decision. But most of us are trying to please the unreasonable person. The unreasonable person will never, ever be satisfied, happy, or pleased. Change your yardstick, your measuring tool. Stop measuring everything you do by the unreasonable and begin to measure it by the reasonable people. I think another way to gain confidence is to develop a sense of humor. I'm not talking about making fun of everyone else. I'm talking about a self-deprecating kind of humor. Learn to laugh at yourself. He or she who learns to laugh at themselves will never run out of material. I do more dumb things than 100 people do, and it's okay to laugh. When you can't do that, that tells me you are lacking in confidence. Many people are unable to ever laugh at themselves. Their humor is always making fun of someone else. But if you learn to make fun of yourself, rather than it repelling people or causing people to lose confidence, they have more confidence in you because you have a proper self-evaluation. And just to gain confidence, once again, accept the fact that you're going to fail on occasion. Every human being does. It's okay. You're going to have to demonstrate courage. Courage isn't the lack of the fear. Courage is, I have the information upon which to make a decision, and though I'm fearful, I am here to make decisions, and I'm going to make the decision. The last thing that I want to say to you in regard to how to gain confidence is, could you just have fun? Do you remember when you first got the position, or you first started the business, or you just began the group that you're involved with right now? How excited and happy you were. I mean, it was a culmination of some planning, some praying, some dreaming, some schooling, whatever all it took. And you were so excited you could hardly sleep at night. And now that same thing has become a misery to you and has become something that you dread. Why don't you make up your mind when you get up tomorrow and you go wherever it is you work that I'm going to have fun. It's fun being a leader. It's fun doing what I'm doing. It's fun being where I am. And that alone will help you as well to gain confidence. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this was like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, leave a brief rating and a written review. It will enable others to find this, especially those of you on iTunes. If you could go and do it right now, I would greatly appreciate it. It'll help other outstanding individuals like you locate this podcast. Remember, my leadership friend, you are doing better than you think you are. You really are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying have a great and blessed day.